yeah, we're going there. Oh my gosh, I didn't think I was gonna get emotional during this. Well, here we go. If I have food in my teeth. Ciao friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, thanks so much for stopping by and clicking on this video. So a couple of days ago, I actually asked you all on Instagram if you prefer me answering to your questions on Instagram stories or on YouTube, and it was literally, you guys, 50-50. So I answered like some of the shorter answers on my Instagram stories. So if you aren't following me, definitely be sure you are following me. That way you don't miss anything. And I did save a lot of questions for you guys here on YouTube. So I'm just scrolling through all your questions now, and a lot of them I've actually already answered on previous Q&As, but I know that they're probably lost in the YouTube archive, so many of you probably haven't seen those Q&As before, but I will link all of my previous Q&As down below, and maybe I answer your questions in the previous ones I've done. Oh, and I am drinking my breakfast smoothie today. It's like a superfood mega green smoothie, so if I have food in my teeth at some point in this video, I apologize ahead of time. All right, let's get into it, guys. All right, I'm gonna just scroll down to the very bottom and start with the first one. Okay, so the first question is advice for the awkward period between moving to Italy and not knowing the language fully yet. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely an awkward period for sure. Advice is to go to Italian classes. When I first moved here, I was not fully fluent at all. I understood a lot, but I could not carry on a conversation at all. So I enrolled in 6-month intensive classes here in Rome, and that's actually how I got my visa to stay here. I did an intensive 6-month program. I went every single day, well, Monday through Friday, for several hours a day, and I personally think that that's the biggest way to improve your language, at least as quick as possible if you are moving to any country and you're not fluent yet in the language. But the only other advice I can give you is to just be patient with yourself, because you can be thrown in situations where you're around locals. Maybe you're out for a drink or you're out for dinner with locals that don't really speak English or your mother tongue, and you may not understand a single thing they're saying, especially when they're talking really fast. Like, I know when I talk in English with my friends, I talk super fast. Emilio, my husband actually, who's Italian, sometimes has trouble understanding us because we just talk so fast, and native people in their own native language are gonna speak that way as well. So I remember thinking I could understand Italian and speaking it quite well at the time. I went to dinner and I was just not able to follow at all. And I kind of felt almost not dumb, but frustrated with myself because I couldn't carry on and follow on and join in on the conversation. So I was self-conscious. I was like, oh my gosh, these people probably think I have nothing to say. I'm boring, I'm stupid, I can't chime in to their talk on politics. But just be patient with yourself. You are learning a new language. You took a huge leap and moved to another country, so kudos to you. The next question is tips for staying healthy while traveling, and what's something that you're most proud of? Well, I guess it depends on where you're traveling to. You know, I try to maintain a healthy lifestyle when I'm on the move, when I'm traveling, but it depends on where I'm going. I like to also indulge and partake in the culture wherever I'm going to, if I'm going to a new place, and that entails drinking, eating all the local delicacies. So I do try to stay healthy, but I also indulge because when I'm traveling, well, I'm always healthy at home. So when I'm traveling, I do cut myself some slack. For example, like in the Mediterranean area here in Europe, it's super easy to just get a side of grilled vegetables, a big salad. But if you're going somewhere to, like, I don't know, Germany, for example, maybe they don't have as many vegetable options on the restaurant menu. But I would say do your research before going and put a list of all the places that you want to go out to eat, check the menus before. And if you do splurge and eat something more unhealthy during your meal, then maybe just try drinking water and lay off the alcohol, and just try to walk more rather than taking taxis. Even though if it's like a 20-minute walk versus a 5-minute taxi ride, try to maybe do the walk. That way you don't feel super guilty for splurging and eating a bunch of fried food during lunch. And also listen to your body while traveling. So if you have jet lag, I know you want to see all the sights and fit everything you can in one day, but really try to listen to your body. If you, like when you first arrive, really try to stay up no matter how tired you are, but then the next day, if you need a nap, take a nap. Because a lot of people get sick with not knowing how to handle jet lag or not listening to their body. If your body's craving a certain thing, then give that thing to your body. I guess those would be my top tips. And what's something you're most proud of? Something I'm most proud of, I guess, would be moving to Italy, because I quit everything. I quit my amazing job. I said goodbye to all my friends, everybody I know. And I came to Italy not really knowing the language and only knowing my husband. I didn't know anybody else. I have some family here, but it's like extended family. So I felt very scared and lost. And at first it was definitely a step out of my comfort zone. So I think that's something I'm most proud of, is just kind of just taking the leap and saying goodbye to my friends, my job, my family for love, as cliche as that is. And I have no regrets. I think it's easy to stay in a routine and stay into something stable like your job. But if there's something you're really passionate about, I mean, we only live once. So I told myself, if it doesn't work out, I can always move back. But if I don't move, then I'll always wonder. So that is definitely something I'm most proud of. It was the best decision I've ever made. Ooh, the sun is coming in. Then someone else asked, favorite thing about Rome, love you. Ah, thank you, love you. My favorite thing about Rome is definitely, and I have talked about this before on a previous Q&A, but I'm gonna tell you again, is that it's an outdoor museum. Everywhere you go is an outdoor museum. It's so rich in history, and just walking around, you feel like you are in an outdoor museum. Probably definitely my favorite thing about Rome is its ancient richness and history and beauty. Ciao friends, I had to move really quickly, like a little bit this way because the sun's coming in. I don't have curtains in this room. Sorry for the weird angle, but this is all I've got to work with right now. Okay, the next question is, what is weather like in Italy now? It's weird. It's the last couple of weeks, it's been gray and rainy and cold. I mean, cold being like 45 degrees Fahrenheit. For a Texas girl, that's pretty cold. Like on Saturday, for example, it was still pretty cold, but we had sun all day. And today I woke up and it was gray and rainy, but the sun is trying to come out. So it's still pretty cold here, and some days it's gray and rainy and some days it's sunny. Next question. Do you ever feel down or low? If yes, what do you do then? Yes, I do. I'm human, just like you guys, and I'm sure that what you see on my social media and most of my YouTube videos is always bubbly and happy and oh my god, like perfect. But that's far from the truth. Really, I struggle all the time. I have many days where I wake up not wanting to get out of bed or be productive at all. I've talked about it in a video before, but I do suffer from anxiety, depression at times, and mental health is something that you can't control. You may have everything in your life, so people may say, well, why aren't you happy, or why don't you feel motivated? You have this, this, and this, but it's here. Like, you can't control your mind, and you can have literally the perfect everything and still not feel 100% happy or inspired, and it's unexplainable. So I do have those days more frequently than I'd like to admit. There's a few things that I do to go about when I feel that way. One thing would be to just maybe let yourself feel that way for a little bit at least. Like, for example, if you don't want to get out of bed right away and it's like the weekend, for example, and you don't have to get up and go to work, just stay in bed. Watch some YouTube videos that inspire you, read an inspiring book maybe about self-love, and make yourself a cup of coffee and just relax and chill in bed. And then just tell yourself, like, you know what, I'm only live once, I'm not gonna waste this day. Get up, go to the gym, do whatever makes you feel happier and whatever makes you feel more vibrant, and just go and do it. Whether it's going to a gym class, or whether it's going to an art class, or painting, writing, whatever inspires you, just force yourself to do it even if you feel super low. For example, I don't know, a couple days ago, I woke up just not in the best mindset at all. And there's no explanation. Like, I literally woke up feeling like a cloud in my head, and I don't know why. Nothing happened in my life to have created that. So I just felt that way. And so for the morning, I let myself feel that way. I sat on the couch, I watched a couple of episodes of Grace and Frankie on Netflix, which always makes me laugh. And then I just said, okay, let's get up, let's go for a walk, go grocery shopping, let me make a meal and, you know, nourish my body. Not one thing is going to work for everybody, but those are things that help me. And surround yourself by people that inspire you, that make you laugh. For example, my husband is amazing, and oh God, I'm gonna get emotional. Just, oh my gosh, I didn't think I was gonna get emotional during this Q&A. What the heck? I don't know what I would do without my husband, because he is so patient with me and would just do anything. And when I feel this way, he does anything to make me laugh, and he just is such a good support. And oh my God. Oh gosh, thank you for that question. But it's a real thing, and I know so many YouTubers talk about anxiety and mental health, and it's like kind of now a cliche thing, but it's actually a thing. And us behind the camera, we only want to show you what we want to show you. We don't show you literally bad days, because we don't want to put negative vibes into your life. So I think a lot of people in this field, I guess, feel that way, because we all have something in common, and it's crazy, but it just, that's the truth. And so yeah, surround yourself with people that make you laugh, with people that inspire you, with people that make you feel good. Go to a movie, snuggle your cat, go take your dog for a walk. But I just want you to know that you're not alone in this at all. So thank you for that question, because it makes me think that you also feel that way sometimes, and that makes me feel that I'm not alone, so you're not alone. Nobody's alone here. And if you guys ever are feeling down or feeling this way too, pop on Instagram and send me a direct message, leave me a comment on a YouTube video, because I think that we need to stick together more and help support each other, because people need to know that this is actually a thing that people deal with. Okay, so thank you. I didn't mean to get all emotional. God. Okay, next question. How can I learn advanced native English? The way I define native English is like, I'm a native English speaker. If you were born in a place that speaks English as their primary language, that's native English. So I think it's really hard unless you started learning English when you were a baby. I don't know if you're ever gonna be able to get native level, but you can get like to an advanced C2 level for sure. And just like learning any other language, immerse yourself. If you can try to study abroad or take as many classes as you need online. I have many videos about how I learn Italian, so what I use to learn Italian. Maybe you can learn to use English. I mean, English is now all around the world now, so you can watch TV shows, movies. Basically, just persistence is key in learning a language. Okay, the next question is, where are you going to travel to this year? I don't have any plans, you guys. I have no travel plans, but you know what? Last year was so crazy with all of our travel plans and wedding plans and honeymoon plans and just a lot of traveling last year. So I'm okay to just chill and just be this year. And if a trip comes along, then a trip comes along. Okay, the next question is, being vegan in Italy challenging? I just want to publicly announce this because a lot of you think I'm 100% vegan. I'm not 100% vegan. I am at home though. Like, I grocery shop and I cook at home vegan. We don't have any dairy, cheese, eggs, nothing in our home. I mean, I do eat honey. I do consume bee pollen. So that's not vegan. But in terms of like plant-based, I'm plant-based all the time at home. When I go out to eat, to be honest, it is, I mean, I think I have vegan friends in Italy. I think it is easy to be vegan in Italy. I think the hardest thing, especially if you were surrounding yourself with the locals, for example, I'm always with my husband's family or his friends. My husband's family are cooking for me. In the beginning, they didn't know what vegan or plant-based was. And when I told them, I was like, okay, let's just make it easier for you. I'm a vegetarian. They're like, oh, okay, so you eat fish. Italians don't really understand the concept of being a vegetarian, let alone vegan. So I would say in their culture, that is the difficult part because they don't really understand it and they have to ask you why. Like, why would you do that? Why would you be vegan? It's so good. This cheese is delicious. This sausage is, oh, mwah. And I have to explain, for me personally, I just explain to them, for me, it's an ethical choice. And once I bring up ethics, they don't question me. So, but in terms of going out to eat, grocery shopping, what you find out is very easy. A lot of things, even though it's primarily at a restaurant, even though things that you find on a menu are primarily vegetarian, if you are hardcore vegan, I think it is a little more harder at restaurants because a lot of dishes, even though they are vegetarian, may have some cheese or egg. So if you ask for none of that, sometimes it already comes made. So Italians are just going to like suggest grilled vegetables or something like that. So it depends. Like, I don't think it's hard at all, especially if you're doing your own grocery shopping and your own cooking. And if you are going out to a restaurant, just do your research beforehand. And a lot of, I don't know, you have to kind of educate Italians because, I mean, they think vegetarians eat fish. And so if you say that you're vegan, they're gonna probably tell you a dish is vegan, but it has eggs. So just educate them. And I don't think it's as challenging as you would think. Okay, next question is, how are you liking the new online English teaching company? So I did kind of hint on Instagram that I no longer work with Dada ABC. No, I don't want to like bash the company. The company was kind of headed into a different direction. I did start teaching English for online for kids, Chinese kids, for another company. But I am going to do a whole video about that. But yes, I love the new online English teaching company. I'm so happy and thankful I found them. They are so nice to work with. I go on a lot about why I like it so much and the platform and how it's really amazing and fun and how the kids are amazing. So I'm going to do a whole nother video about that. But if you are wondering, I started working with Q Kids and couldn't recommend them more. So if you are interested in teaching English online, but you still haven't applied anywhere, I'll leave the link down below if you're interested in checking them out because I really love them. Okay, and but bouncing off of that, are you still working with Dada? Also, is teaching English your only job? So no, I'm not teaching with Dada anymore. And teaching English is not my only job. It was my only job when I first moved here. I love teaching English online, and I have a couple of private students that I go to their house and tutor them, that I've been tutoring them for a few years now, and I love them. It's not my only job. I started to work really hard with YouTube, and I just launched my new blog. So that's also kind of my part-time job as well, which is really exciting. And I wouldn't be able to do that if it weren't for you guys. So appreciative of you guys. Someone asked, where do you and your husband see yourself in 5 years? Oh, these questions, they get to me because I don't even know where I see ourselves in 1 year. Because there's like a lot going on this year. We may be moving, and I think, to be honest, I see ourselves in 5 years happy with a home maybe that we have bought, hopefully, with a dog maybe, and at least a kid. Yeah, we're going there. And just happy and healthy. That's all I can wish for, honestly. All right, next question. Are you religious since Italy is full of religious people? Well, Italy is, you know, they're all Roman Catholics for the most part. Majority of Italy, yeah, the people are raised Roman Catholic. And I have never talked about religion before here on my channel, so I'm personally not religious. I'm more spiritual, I have to say. I was baptized Catholic because my dad is Catholic, but ever since my parents divorced, I was kind of raised Episcopalian because my mom is Episcopalian, so I would go to church, I would go to Sunday school, but I never had my first communion. And when my mom married my stepdad, who's Jewish, we had like just all these different things in the home. I mean, we celebrated Jewish holidays, we celebrated Christian holidays. I grew up with like kind of a laxed religious imprint, I would say. I mean, yeah, we would go to church, but not every Sunday. And then we did celebrate also Jewish holidays. So I guess, I don't know, I was kind of confused as a kid. And then my mom and my dad kind of let me just choose to believe what I wanted to believe. And I started studying Hinduism, Buddhism in college, and really kind of just resonated with more of the spiritual side. I would say that I'm agnostic, which means that I believe in a higher being in the universe. I'm very open. I'm very open. Life plans for the next 6 months. Life plans for the next 6 months. Life plans, okay. Well, well, here we go. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that we submitted all of the paperwork, the application for my husband's green card for the States. That's gonna take several months. And once we kind of find out about that, I think we're gonna move, you guys. I think we're gonna move to the States. We're not sure when yet. I kind of want like one last summer in Europe, you know, like a full summer. So I don't know yet, but for the next 6 months, I mean, let's see, 6 months from now, I think I'll still be in Italy, but yes, the near-ish future, I think we're going to move back to the States, guys. But you already knew that if you saw a couple of my videos in the past. Okay, next question. Will you make a fan meeting in Rome, like a meetup? And oh, you guys, I get asked this all the time for those who live in Rome or from Rome, and I don't know, I'm kind of nervous about that. I don't know why, I've gotten some weird messages from people who live here in Rome, like that make me very uncomfortable, and I'm just kind of terrified what the outcome may be. And I know that's silly because all of you are amazing and awesome. There's just like that one person that has to ruin it for everybody. I don't know. Do you have advice or recommendations for someone who's studying abroad in Rome? Is your question like advice to meet friends, advice for languages, recommendations like places to go? I have many videos of like my favorite pizza places, my favorite places to get coffee. I guess my biggest advice would be to try to not hang out with only people who speak your mother tongue language and really try to meet locals, because if your goal is to learn Italian and you're hanging around all the time people who are from your home country, then you're never going to learn the language. And just see as much as you can do, travel as much as you can on the weekends, and take advantage of it. That's my biggest advice. Okay, and then another question is, do you have Italian girlfriends? That's been the hardest part of being an expat for me. Me too. And not just Italian girlfriends, but girlfriends in general. So, you know, moving to a new place, not knowing anybody is daunting. And when I first moved here, I definitely put myself out there. I went to like expat meetings, expat groups, a couple of meetups, like blogger meetups. That's how I met Zoe, which is amazing. That's how I met a couple other people who I became friends with. But a lot of the expats that I had become friends with moved away. They had already lived here for a while and they were moving to the next destination. So I feel like I get close to someone and I form a friendship and then they move away. In terms of Italians, it's difficult to meet like local Italians. I have met a couple really sweet Italian girls. So yeah, we have like hung out every now and then, but I feel like Italian women, especially when they're already like in their late 20s, early 30s, like are kind of closed. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean like they're closed already within their friend groups. They already have the people that they see, they hang out with. And it's like hard to kind of, you know, like not accept someone new, but to bring someone new into their clique, I guess. It's not a negative thing at all. It's even, I guess, like American girls, for example. I mean, I don't know. I guess they're more like, hey, you want to come to dinner with me and my friends? Like they're more like open that way. Whereas Italian women, I don't know. I mean, I love, like, for example, my husband's friends' wives are great, but they already have kids, so their times are always spent with being with their kids. I feel like it's hard. It's hard because the groups of people that I've met have been through expats, so it's hard to meet Italians. When I was working for the school here, English school, all my colleagues were Italians, and they were really nice girls, but I didn't like click with them. And same, like a lot of these expat groups I went to, I tried it out, but I didn't click with anyone. So I think, yeah, one of the hardest parts for me has been to find my friend group. I have obviously a couple friends here, but not many, and I miss my friends at home. Okay, someone else asks, what pulls you to move back to the US in spite of the political turmoil and uncertainty? Well, I would have to say that the political turmoil and uncertainty is the biggest reason why we would leave Italy. Unfortunately, Italy is not doing so well economically, and the unemployment rate, I think from ages 19 to 34 now, has increased over 30%, which is insane. And rent is expensive, and we're ready, me and my husband eventually will be ready to have a family, and we don't want to raise our family in that uncertainty, and we want to be closer to my family to help us when we need help, and in terms of our, you know, raising kids. And I think our biggest support system is in the States. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons we would move, and like we want to start our life, buy a house in Rome. That's almost impossible with the salaries that people earn here. So yeah. Someone asks, do you do Italian lessons like one-on-one, because I need an Italian teacher? Although I am fluent in Italian conversationally, I am not qualified to teach Italian at all. So can you be fluent in a language when you start in your 20s? I definitely think so. I think it's harder. I mean, I started Italian when I was in my 20s, and I would say I'm pretty fluent now. So I just think you have to be really dedicated. It's a lot harder than it would be if you were a kid, but it's definitely possible. I'm gonna answer one more question for you guys. Let me pick the best one. Okay, I like this one. What was the decision process like when you chose to move to Italy? Okay, the decision process went something like this. My then boyfriend, who's now my husband, was like, you should move to Italy. And I was like, why would I leave my job, my friends, my family? Why would I do that? But then I was like, I can't continue to do a long distance relationship, and my husband, then boyfriend, couldn't move to the States legally. I mean, he needed a visa. And so it just made sense that if one of us and I could get my citizenship through my grandfather, so it just made sense for me to move. And also I was kind of ready for a life change. I was like kind of going through like a quarter life crisis, I guess. And I loved my job, but I was not seeing myself grow in it. So I said, okay, sure. All right, sure, yeah, I'll move to Italy. Terrified, absolutely terrified. I remember sitting down, I think it was like during Christmas, and I told my mom and my stepdad first, and I said, I think I want to move to Italy. And I was expecting the reaction to be like, what? You can't do that, you're so stupid, what are you doing, leaving all this? And they were like, okay. They were like, okay. I mean, they met Emilio beforehand, they knew him, and they said, okay, if this is really what you want to do, if you've thought it out, you have a plan B, I mean, you can always come back home. So don't think that you're stuck in Italy. And I think, then I told my dad later, and he felt the same way. I mean, I think your parents are always gonna be like, you're moving to Italy for a man? That's not the smartest decision, because what if it just doesn't go right? But I could always move back home. I mean, you know. So yeah, that was like my thought decision, was just saying, okay. Then I had to tell my boss, and I was terrified. I think that was for me the hardest part. It was harder for me to tell my boss than it was telling my parents, because I loved my job and I didn't want to burn any bridges. And everyone already knew we were dating, because my husband works for the same company I was working at. So they all knew that I met this Italian who works in the European sector, and they all knew that. And long distance doesn't make sense if you don't have an end goal. So I told my boss, and unfortunately, you know, there's no opportunities in the same position and field that I was in the Rome office, unfortunately. So I just decided to quit with no plans, you guys. Like, I had no plans, and I just said, okay, I'm just gonna become an English teacher. That's gonna be what I do when I first moved to Italy, and then I'll figure it out. And so then I left. I used to live and work in Boston. I packed everything up. I found someone to take over my lease. I packed up, and then I went to Italy with 4 suitcases, and then the rest is history. So, you know, I was terrified at first, but then you realize that, like, you know, it's an adventure. I thought of it as an adventure. I had Amelia, who was amazing, who has been amazing through the whole process. And yeah, I signed up for Italian classes. That way I could do things right when I arrived. And then, yeah, that's what happened. I wanted to thank you so much for asking me these questions. And if you have any other questions, you can be sure to leave them down below in the comments, and I can try to answer them for you. I'm thinking of maybe doing like the impressions, like answering the impressions that you guys have on me video, but I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of scared. But I've been loving all of the other YouTubers do it, so is that something that you guys would want to see? I don't know. Thanks so much, friends, for clicking on this video. If you liked what you saw and you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss any of my future videos, and I will see you guys next time. Ciao!